Hello and welcome to Virtual Investor Conferences. On behalf of OTC Markets, we are very pleased you have joined us for our AI and Technology Conference. Our next live presentation is from Siyata Mobile. Please note you can submit questions for the presenter in the box to the left of the slides. You can also view a company's availability for one-on-one meetings by clicking Book a Meeting in the top toolbar. At this point, I am very pleased to welcome Eitan Zakharin, Chief Executive Officer of Core Gaming of Siyata Mobile, which trades on the Nasdaq under the symbol SYTA. Welcome, Eitan.
Thanks very much, Greg. Appreciate it. And thank you for everyone who's joining us today. I would like to just start by introducing our company. As Greg mentioned, my name is Eitan Zakharin. I'm the CEO of Core Gaming. We are an international developer and publisher of mobile games, mobile casual games to be specific. And you may have noticed that the name Core Gaming is different than Siyata Mobile, and I'll just speak to that for a moment for whoever's not familiar. But we have announced a merger with Siyata Mobile just a few weeks ago. And so that merger is pending regulatory approval, but it has received board approval on both sides and shareholder approval, and therefore we are excited to be merging with Siyata Mobile. We're excited for both organizations to come together and very much focused on increasing shareholder value through execution on both businesses. So I'll speak to that a little bit more towards the end of the presentation. For now, just before I get started here, I'd like to just mention being that we are a public company. It is important that you're aware of the disclosures, and so you can certainly read this more on our website or any of the press releases from Siyata Mobile. But in today's presentation, I will be making forward-looking statements, and so you should just be aware about those disclosures as it relates to those statements. And if you'd like more information, as I mentioned, you can look at this presentation at the end, which I think is downloadable, or you can look at any of the press releases that Siyata Mobile has put out. Okay, so as I mentioned, we are a leading developer and publisher of casual mobile games. We are focused on both our development of our own games as well as co-development with other gaming developers of casual mobile games. And we're a publisher as well, which means that we don't just develop the games, but we also have a marketing platform and a large network that enables us to distribute the games, to market them. We leverage AI tools, which we've developed in-house, and using those AI tools, we've been able to create unique aspects to both our games as well as our marketing platform. Our casual games today number over 2,100 games. Again, those are both games that we've developed in-house and co-developed with other companies, and as well as launched them. And those games represent a global distribution in over 140 countries. To date, we have seen lifetime downloads over 790 million across all of the gaming assets that we've launched. So speaking a little bit about what casual mobile games are and the type of business that we're in and what we do. Casual mobile games they're easy to understand games. These are games, as some of you may remember, like Angry Birds or Candy Crush, which are popular examples of casual games. Other games would be puzzle games, trivia games, or match games. And essentially, these are games that are ideal for diversion, short breaks, not very intricate games, have traditionally bold sounds and bold colors and sounds and animations that really captivate and engage the user. The monetization for these games is somewhat different than other games. Casual and hyper-casual games are typically monetized through advertising on the games, as opposed to pay for downloads. So our games are almost entirely comprised of advertising as a monetization. We do have some in-game downloads that can actually be paid for, but most of our games are utilizing advertising to monetize. Our games, as I mentioned, are distributed across our platform, which is called the BI platform. I'll speak about that in more detail in a few slides. And we also have partnerships with a number of different distribution platforms as well, which we leverage to be able to increase our user base as well as for the other gaming companies that we work with. So just a snapshot of the company numbers. As I mentioned, over 2,100 casual mobile games that have been launched to date, representing over 790 million downloads. We have, on average, 43 million monthly active users. That number can fluctuate. These are games that are not necessarily banner games, games that have strong branding to them. They're games that can see, they certainly have a stickiness to them, but they can see a high level of attrition, which is why we have essentially a pipeline where we're constantly putting out new games, and we'll speak about our strategy in determining which gaming niches to go into. We've also developed over 54 partnerships with other game developers, as well as over 40 partnerships with global ad platforms such as Google, TikTok, and Meta. Just speaking about the market itself, so there's been definitely a growth in the industry with the advent of smartphones and the widespread adoption of smartphones, which has led to a very large increase year over year of people utilizing mobile games. The gaming sector as a whole is much larger, about $450 billion, but our focus is specifically on mobile games. So that market is about $125 billion today, and projected to grow to close to $160 billion by 2029. To date, there's about 2.5 billion users worldwide, and gamers on average are spending over 7 hours a week on gaming. So the engagement is definitely something that is a major driver for gaming companies. Of course, you want to create games that have a stickiness to them, keeping people engaged and utilizing it, which of course translates into how you monetize the games. But from our perspective, we really look to focus on the free-to-play games, which is the fastest growing segment, and then of course monetizing them through advertising. So our global distribution is widespread, and it is concentrated in a number of different countries, as you see here. The vast majority are in Canada, United States, United Kingdom, Germany, and Japan. Those would be our top distribution where the games are actually played, which of course can vary depending on the genre of the game. But that for us is also a very important metric that we look at, because ultimately these countries differ in terms of how the CPI is calculated and the average revenue per user. And so it happens to be that in these particular geographic regions, those advertising rates are much higher. The gaming industry is extremely competitive globally. It's also highly fragmented. It's composed of companies ranging from small independent developers to very large companies. Some of the examples that you see here, such as AppLovin, Playtika, T2, these are publicly traded companies that you can take a look at as comparable. But many of our primary competitors are gaming developers. But there are also companies such as AppLovin that are both gaming developers as well as gaming publishers. So we would fall more into that category, whereby we develop and co-develop our own games and distribute them, but we also offer services to other gaming developers to help them distribute their games as well. So there's a number of different competitive advantages that we believe we have. I would say the main focal point is in our technology. We are driven by technology in our core. And so anything that we do, we always look to see how we can get a technological edge and see really where our technology would provide us a differentiator in the industry. We have a strong track record of launching games. As I mentioned, 2,100 games, which is quite a large number. If you look at other gaming companies, we're probably at the top. We also have a high level of expertise in the mobile games ecosystem. So not just as a gaming developer, but also as a publisher with a large marketing footprint. And we also have developed extensive relationships with third parties in the mobile gaming industry. So as I mentioned, there are other companies that are competitors to us, but they're also considered partners. And so one example of that would be AppLovin, whereby essentially AppLovin does something very similar to what we do, but we also work in tandem with them. So they will utilize us as one of their publishers, meaning they can leverage our platform to gain larger distribution for their clients. And in turn, we would utilize them as an advertising platform, whereby we'll work with their advertisers and through their backend system to be able to bring. So it's a two-way street in many cases. So as I mentioned before, we have a unique platform that we've developed. It's called a BI platform, just like AI BI platform, and it incorporates a unique both AI technology, but also algorithms. And this platform is really helped us stand out and has contributed to our dramatic growth over the years. It's an enabler for us to target a large, diverse geography of types of games, but to also have the granularity in understanding exactly how we're going about targeting those different advertising channels. So not every game is the same. As you can imagine, we offer an array of different games. Each game and niche requires its own marketing approach. So this platform is a unique centralized platform that we've created that helps us do that. It's more details of how that works shortly, which incorporates state-of-the-art language, image, and video models, which we've last year and in the second half of the year, which enabled us to the amount of time that it takes us to actually produce the games and the marketing strategy to integrate into the games themselves. So we actually incorporated some of the AI into the games themselves. For gaming, user acquisition, cross promotion, monetization. We have, as I mentioned, two different revenue streams. The primary revenue stream is through monetization of our own games and the co-developed games. We also offer through our platform an effective way for other gaming companies to be able to distribute and ultimately launch their market and scale them up. This, as you can imagine, is every business's problem. You can have, but if people don't know about it, then and so we serve a very important function in the gaming ecosystem to help gaming companies, both large and small, to be able to distribute their games and get them in front of the right audience. So speaking just a little bit about the monetization model, how and where we break the revenue from. We work with advertisers who are seeking to target relevant users for companies if they're to gaming apps. And so we do that by leveraging our data to determine what the profile is. So then we can package target advertising solutions for the advertisers as well as advertising. We display ads within our gaming portfolio, and our advertising comes in the form of advertising fees. We work with a number of different platforms as well as direct with gaming developers or with other developers. And some of those platforms are Google, Apple, Meta, TikTok, and these are typically formats within the game that are on an impression basis, on a view basis, in terms of the ads are served. And ultimately our platform makes that determination of what the appropriate ad is for those games. So part of the parameters that we look at are what at that moment of time is going to be the most lucrative ad. So here are just a few names. I've already mentioned them a few times, but these are a few names of the advertising platforms that work with. Some of these are partnerships. Some of these are more traditional relationships. But in all cases, for us, it's a matter of this reach for our advertisers. And the inverse is true as well for our, want to make sure that we're getting most effective advertising that we can, for that game or that user. And so having a broad array of different advertising platforms and agencies that we work with gives us many options, and they all ultimately integrate. So speaking just a moment about the BI platform is something that we've developed in-house. It helps us improve the quality as well as internally for our own games. I'll just kind of define a few of these words here because they're not, some of these are kind of a little bit more technical. The material management efficiency refers to the ad optimizer workload involved in creating a large number of images and videos needed for ad distribution. So these are some of the optimizations that we've seen once we started deploying the BI platform utilizing the AI tools. These are some of the optimizations that we've seen across these different parameters. So ad creation time being reduced by nearly 100%, ad serving level going up fivefold. Ad serving level refers to, and team efficiency refers to the centralized management of ad creatives by the optimizers. And so it keeps the performance of the ads running high and removes any inefficient campaigns. And that's done on an automated basis, whereas before, a lot of these were much more manual processes that had to be done by the actual ads management. I'll speak just a moment about the AI component of what we do. AI, I think, is something that's kind of thrown around very loosely these days, but it's the way it's actually used in different industries and sectors is kind of defines what AI means. In our particular case, AI is referring to text, voice, image, and video models that we use, that we leverage for integration into our games as well as into our advertising platform. So with the text and language models, we use pre-trained language models like GPT-4 and domain-specific and fine-tuned models. The impact of these particular language models is that we've been able to create content streamlined, and we've been able to reduce production time of the gaming assets themselves by over 40%, which is very significant, and obviously we see a tremendous return on that. Once we started utilizing this in our marketing approach and content generation, We saw an overwhelming response from our content generators, and as well as people who engage with the content. So we've seen that in, on our TikTok videos and others. It's been very well received. Our voice models use in-house voice cloning and text-to-speech, which accurately replicate human voice characteristics and transform any text-to-speech. So, for example, we have a partner called Lucky Short that uses our voice cloning and text-to-speech technology for automated multilingual dubbing of short dramas, which help them achieve a 50% boost in content production and reduce the amount of time, as I mentioned, of getting these games to market. So I'll show you an example in just the next slide here about how that actually looks, in a game itself. But that's something that you're seeing a lot more today in the games and how they're being integrated with unique features using AI voice models. The image models are generative adversarial networks, or GANs, and they are models that help to optimize artistic stylization and image generation. So these help us achieve a high standard of artistic and visual authenticity, which are very helpful in the game design as well as the social media content generation. These models help us engage users with in innovative ways to give them to give us, our developers, new creative ideas of how the users will engage with the games. And the same is true with the video models. The video models are also using a generative technology that's built on a diffusion model, optimized for temporal consistency and neural rendering techniques. These are videos that are generated using fluid motion and that are rich in detail. And this technology, as I referred to before, has been well received by content generation. It's something that really stands apart. So you see some of the advertising creatives that we use. It's something that's new, that users are finding interesting and are actually engaging. Okay, this slide here, I'd just like to speak for a moment about our AI distribution platform, the BI platform, and this just is a comparison of how we've seen some of the ways that the AI platform has actually given us an edge. It's enabled us to create a kind of one-stop ad management with a multi-platform integration in one place. So I mentioned a few of the different advertising companies and platforms that we work with. So we're able to channel everything back into the BI platform and manage it all from one place. The AI assistant has enabled us to deliver ads in a more optimized way and has given us tools to be able to automate the ad optimization process in real time. So we can really see what's happening, in a way that's critical for us to make decisions on how the campaign direction should change, or whether more advertising spend should go towards a campaign. Prior to this, we have to do a lot of this in relying on manpower and a manual process. And now we've been able to use the AI tools to automate this. As an organization, we're very heavily data-driven. And so we've developed these AI tools to assist us in data analysis and using that data to build predictive models, which helps increase the ROI on the ad spend. So, essentially, we can see where the ROI is occurring, and we can do multiple test campaigns to see how one's performing versus the other. And then the AI will actually make that decision, looking at a number of different models with our algorithm, will make that decision for us or for the advertising customer that we may be working with. Our approach to developing games is a bit unique from what other gaming developers do. So other gaming developers will, let's say, have flagship brand. I mentioned, for example, Angry Birds before, Candy Crush, and then they will continue to develop under the brand. And so they have a theme, a genre that they're focused on, and they will continue building games under that. We take a different approach. Our approach is first to utilize our algorithm to determine what gaming niche or sub-niche is untapped, or perhaps where we can get a first mover advantage or an edge on. And sometimes that may be in the way of the gaming creative itself, and sometimes that may be just in the marketing approach and how we actually target the users that we're looking to bring in for those games. Once we make that determination, we will then go and build games to fulfill that particular niche, either again through ourselves or through partnerships with other gaming developers. So it's a bit of an inverse model to what other gaming companies do, but for us it's worked very well. Risk management is also an area that we've been able to deploy our AI tools to help us. And it's essentially with our ad optimizers are running ads in the background and essentially are able to make corrections in real time to optimize the budget for the campaigns and see if there's something that has gone awry, or they're not seeing the ROI they're looking for, maybe they input the wrong budget. We will actually create a safety net for them and make sure that the campaign is paused and give them an alert so they can make modifications. And then one of the most important aspects of our platform is the advertising strategy. So the technology itself will actually put together an advertising strategy using a number of different inputs into our algorithm, and that will help us kind of determine where we're allocating advertising spend. This is just two examples. I see I'm getting short on time, so I'm just going to kind of go through these last few slides really quick. These are just two examples of games that we've launched using our AI features. So we have an AI comic app that's a powerful AI image and video generating tool that effortlessly creates stunning AI images and anime style videos. And another one that we have here is called Voice Picks, which is an AI powered voice application. It allows you to clone any voice into with a single tap. So users can basically, use their voice to cover any favorite song they have, or synthesize speech that they want, create text to speech, or make a custom avatar. That's another application that we have. So just a quick overview of the financial summary. Our company, Core Gaming, is on a mission to be the leading global AI-driven gaming company. And we feel we're well on our way to doing that. We see strong organic growth within our business. Our revenues have gone from nearly 38 million in 2022 to 57 in 2023, and 2024 last year's revenues on an unaudited basis are close to 80 million. So we see strong growth organically, and we also see opportunities to actually look at some acquisition opportunities in complementary verticals. So some gaming opportunities, but also some complementary verticals that are not specifically gaming, but are relevant to gaming. Meaning having the same kind of approach in terms of how we market and utilizing our platform. So one example would be short form video content, so similar to TikTok or Vines. We're looking at a few acquisitions in that space, which we feel would be strong contributors to increasing our margin profile. I realize there's a number of questions here, so I apologize if we're not able to get to these. I just wanted to, we will try to follow up if you maybe want to just send an email to info@coregaming.co, with your questions. Happy to follow up over there, or someone from our team will. And, one thing just in closing is that we have announced a merger with Siyata Mobile, and their announcement was made a few weeks ago. We also have a video which was recorded as an interview, a media interview that was done of Mark and myself, Mark Sillenfraum, CEO of Siyata. And so a lot of the questions I think that people were wondering about were addressed in that interview. So I encourage you to go look at that. That's on the Siyata Mobile Siyata.net website. You can also look at coregaming.co. It's actually a typo here. It's coregaming.co.com. And you can get more information about our company. Very much appreciate the opportunity to address everyone today, and hopefully you've learned more about our company. We're excited to continue to communicate to the market and to our shareholders about exciting developments with the company and the merger itself. The merger is expected to close sometime in Q2. We don't have an exact date. It's kind of going through a regulatory process now, but we do have a pathway to get there. And so, we'll be updating shareholders as we advance through that process. Appreciate everyone's time, and certainly follow up with any other questions you may have.